Previously, I've checked out this entry-level PowerA wired controller for the Xbox. I've also checked out this, the Fusion Spectra Enhance with its fancy LED lights. But now it's time I really up my controller game. And that is why today we're looking at this, the Fusion Pro wired controller for the Xbox and Windows 10. Let's do an unboxing, set it up and see if it's any good. Let's get to it. The Fusion Pro wired controller is clearly aimed at that Xbox Elite or Scuf controller kind of market with its customizable elements and the triggers on the back, etc. But as with other PowerA stuff, the big difference is in the price. An Elite controller or a Scuf controller is going to be post 150 odd quid, whereas this is around 80 to 90 quid. In fairness, those other controllers are wireless and this is wired, but that could be the only fundamental difference that you're looking at. Now, full transparency here, PowerA kindly sent me this one to review, so we're going to do a full unboxing and check it out and see if it's any good. Now, first off, because I get asked this a lot on my channel when I review wired controllers, it's a wired controller, there is no battery, you can't play it without the wire, okay? Now that is out the way. And as with any premium type controllers, customization is the key. Let's have a look at the box as we go around and you'll see what they've got here. So it says here, Fusion A, gain the advantage, pro level controllers and enhanced features. Mappable Pro Pack, assign inputs on the fly on one of 4 removable rear paddles to optimize your playstyle. 3-way trigger locks, adjust for shorter trigger response and faster action. Swappable parts, remove the magnetic faceplate to quickly swap out analog sticks and anti-friction rings. Play your way. So it has a dual rumble motors, 3.5mm audio jack, metallic accents, detachable Pro Pack, and injected rubber grips. Okay, so that's what the box says. Why don't we get on and do an unpacking and see what's inside, ladies and gentlemen. Now, straight away, it has a much more kind of premium feel in terms of just the packaging compared to the other PowerA controllers I've had. So there's a sort of certain confidence in the packaging itself. And then you can see, it comes with its own carry case. You can see the Fusion embossed there on there. It feels quite substantial as well. I mean, the basic PowerA controller was really light because there's no battery pack, but this has got extra kind of bits and stuff like that, so that's really cool. So we'll have a look at that, see what else is on the box before we open that. And this looks like the standard literature. Again, a much more premium feel to the packaging than on other, oh that wasn't very cool, than other PowerA controllers. A few kind of stickers there, and then instructions here, which we'll take a look at later. This is really nice, comes with this lovely kind of carry pack. So this is the 3-meter cable, wired cable, it's braided, so a bit like the Spectra Enhance, which I really love. I really love that cable. And then it has sort of this lockable USB thing here, so it just doesn't pull out easily. 3-meter length, good length, plenty of length. Here's the main controller. Yeah, it does feel weighty, much weightier than the really cheap one, obviously. Let's see how it feels compared to a standard wireless one. This feels heavier than a wireless Xbox controller. Substantially heavier, I'd say, probably. But it feels very solid. But, you know, everything fairly standard as you'd expect. Then these are the mappable buttons on the back. When we set it up, I'll show you, but you basically take this bit off the back here and then you slot it in to replace it there. And then you've got your levers on the back. Completely programmable and mappable. And you can do it on the fly, which is really cool. Then here you've got the extra thumbsticks to give you extra height. One is sort of smooth over the top, and then this one is sort of beveled. So you can decide which one you'd prefer on the left and on the right. One's sort of a smooth top and one's a concave top there with a bit of grip. Anti-friction ringlets. And you can basically swap those out with these ones here. And there we are, all with a nice sort of carry case. So that's the unboxing. There's your Fusion Pro controller. Let's get it all set up and see how easy it is to use, how easy it is to set up, program the mappable buttons, and see what the gameplay is like. Manual here, fairly straightforward. Explanation of the basic buttons here, all very much straightforward, as you'd normally see, a proper kind of standard Xbox layout. The only difference here is the power stroke program LED, which sort of changes color when you know you're sort of programming the mappable keys on the button. Rest fairly straightforward. On the back, that's where it starts to get interesting, because you'll have your mappable Pro Pack here, which we'll attach a bit later. You've got your right three-way trigger lock, left three-way trigger lock, USB port obviously, and then the program button on the back. We'll see all of that when we set it up. Really love these braided USB cables that they do with this kind of lockable element here so that it doesn't easily come out. And then of course if anybody decides to kind of go running past and trip over the wire, comes apart there and doesn't pull your Xbox half across the room. So let's just plug it in. With these PowerA controllers, there's quite a long kind of deep channel that it goes into, which is good because it means it sticks in. But I've had people sort of say, oh, I've got my PowerA controller and it won't power up, Clive. And often the answer is simply they haven't pushed it in deep enough. Okay? Now obviously that's in. You can see straight away the power light is on there. And if you want to remove this cable, you just squeeze those two bits on the edge and then it should come out. It's quite hard to do to get it out, but that's fine. You don't really want it to come out that easily. If you want to replace the analog sticks and the anti-friction ring replacements, then what you do is, this is a sort of magnetic cover bit, and there's a little, where my thumb is, there's a little slot there. The idea, I think, is you just, there we are, just comes away really easily, yeah, because it's magnetic. And there you go. And then these just pull off like that. Very straightforward. Now both these little ones have a concave sort of ergonomic thumb section there, whereas these ones you might want to replace it with, not only are they taller, one is convex and one is concave, so they just slot on top. Now you'll see these are not little sort of square slots, so you just got to line it up right. Okay, that's in. That was a bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Waggles about. There we are. Once it slides in, nice and good. And then this just pops over the top and snap. Nice, satisfying. Snaps in place like that. And it doesn't feel like it's going to come off. I mean, you have to just put your finger there. But once your finger's under there, flicks off, no problem. But other than that, feels absolutely, there's no wobble or anything like that. It fits nice and tight, as you'd expect. So that's how you change those. Again, if you want to change the ring sections, basically the same process. You can just pop them out. Right. Oh, pings across the floor. I lose that bit. And then, okay, they just snap in place from the top very easily. So then you've got this sort of green accent here. So again, just put that on the top. If you want, you can replace both. I'm just replacing that one now. So you've got a nice little green accent on there and then the silver one there. They're meant to be kind of anti-friction things, and I did read somewhere that there is a difference between the two. I'm not sure whether it's just aesthetic or there is actually a difference between the sort of anti-friction elements on the two. But there we are. That's all very straightforward. So on the back, you see here, there's this little doorway here. So we just push that there, and then that should open. Just comes off there. Very straightforward. Then you get these. Line it up with these, so you've got the sort of the contacts there. And then there's a little lip bit here at the bottom. And that's going to feed into that bottom there somewhere, he says. How are we going to do this? There we go. That fits very well. So that's for getting it off. The little lip at the bottom there is for pulling it out. But there we go. There, ladies and gentlemen, is your controller with the paddles on the back. Now, if you've not had a controller with paddles before, it might get a little bit getting used to. I feel the difference between using these higher sticks here. That's very interesting. I'll have to check with my son how he feels the best sort of customization is for the way that he plays. They feel a bit high for me, but that kind of adds that kind of extra sensitivity to it, I think. Programming is super easy. All you do is you press this button here, that light flashes, I press A, the thing I want to change, and then A. And in theory, that should be set now. But we'll do it with some gameplay, and then you can see how that works in action. The trigger locks here, you can see how far it goes down on that one. And then I'll go all the way to the other side. Much different. That's much quicker. That goes all the way down. Much longer stroke there. Middle. And then really sensitive, quick. There. And so again, they're very easy to do, and you can do it on the fly. You can adjust the left one to how you want it, and the right one to how you want it. All right, well, let's get a game revved up on the old Xbox or PC, and then we'll see what it's like to play with. So you press the program button till the light flashes. Press the key you want to change, the one you want to change it to. Right, now, yeah. So now I'm not even touching the trigger there, you can see. Quick tap or long hold. I've transferred all of that now to this lever here. So quick tap, weapon change, long hold, select the weapon. And then that other lever there is set to the A. Now you might sort of think, well, these other levers get in my way. I'm not using it at the moment. Oh, that's a nice weapon. Okay, let's put it into action. Okay, here we go. Oh. Now the great thing is if you feel that ultimately these levers are getting in the way, that's okay. So what you can actually do is you can remove the levers you don't want. So for instance, say if I only wanted this one, which I've not really seen many people who review this kind of point out, but it's quite a useful little thing, because my son was saying, oh, these ones are getting in the way, they're annoying me. So say for instance you just have one thing that you want to transfer to the trigger on the bottom, slots in there, then goes flat. So it feels loose, but it needs to be, as a control, it needs to feel loose. Put that in there. Now, there are, and it's still working. It's working. So now you don't have those other levers in the way that you might have annoyed you before. and you've got the one thing that you wanted. So I've been using the Fusion Pro for a few days now, and I've been using it on the PC, playing games direct on the PC, been using it with Stadia, been using it with Xbox One X. My son's been using it to play Fortnite, and overall I'm really impressed with the kind of overall build of the controller. It feels like a solid build and kind of well made, and yet at the same time it's easy just to take apart. It doesn't feel kind of loose or wobbly, but it's very easy to customize and take the things off and then just put them back on, and then they sort of click in place, that sort of satisfying click overall. And so I'm really like that. And then the customizability of it, it's just so easy to customize this controller. And as I say, if you don't want 4 paddles on the back, that's fine, just remove some of the paddles, just keep the paddles that you want. And if you, like me for instance, if you don't like using the D-pad to access, you know, part of your menu in a game, whatever, then you can just map that to one of these paddles here. Or if you have to kind of access stuff through using sort of R3 or L3, i.e. pushing down on the analog sticks, sometimes I find it's easier if I could just have that mapped to one of the mappable paddles here. So I really like that. And the difference, oh my gosh, the difference that being able to change the sensitivity of the trigger, that makes a massive difference, especially if you're playing a game like Doom, where you want that kind of quick shooting and stuff like that. So you want that kind of really instant kind of firing effect that setting it to kind of 1 will do, as opposed to kind of the longer pull down of the trigger that you're going to get with sort of setting it to 3. Again, really good. And then the fact that you can use different height analog sticks here, that's really great, because that kind of increases your sensitivity without having to go into the settings to change your sensitivity as well. So if you like a kind of increased sensitivity, then you might like a kind of a taller analog stick overall. So yeah, I'm really, really impressed with this. And right now I've seen it on Amazon for about £60, which, given that it's sort of trying to compete with the Xbox Elite and the Scuf controllers and like that, is less than half the price of those kind of controllers. So really good value. And yes, it's not wireless, but actually personally I think I preferred a wired controller. I used to like wireless and the whole concept of wireless, but if you play, you know, if you game a lot, then you are constantly having to sort of swap around batteries, recharge batteries, etc, etc. And as I say, I have a whole raft of rechargeable batteries sitting around the house all the time. But the beauty of you know, having a long, solid, well-made wired connection here is you never have to worry about your controller kind of running down on you or anything like that. The value of a well-made controller like this compared to an Xbox Elite, or even the Razer Wolverine controller, which is about £109 on Amazon right now. So to compare it to the £60, that gives you an idea. This is a great controller. And if it's the first time you're updating your basic Xbox controller, you will notice a massive leap just by spending, instead of, you know, an Xbox controller is going to cost you 50 quid anyway, a wireless one. So this is going to cost you about 60 quid. The improvement and the fact there's so much customization that you get with this is well worth the value. So I'm really, really impressed with this, and this is going to be my go-to controller for the Xbox and the PC from now on. So I hope you found that useful. I hope you found it interesting. Put any comments down in the comment section if you did, and please hit the likes, because I like them, YouTube likes them, and it helps people like you find content like this. And please, please, please do me a massive favor. If you've liked this content, hit subscribe, toggle that notification bell so you know when I go live with content like this, and keep watching the channel because I'll have more tech reviews coming to you very, very soon. Thank you.